Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video and welcome back to a new writing vlog, or as I would like to call it, an editing vlog. And in this vlog I am continuing to read through Project Full Moon, which is the novel that I finished last year during NaNoWriMo and December, and it's a witchy, enemies to lovers, with demons and witch hunters and all the juicy romance feels. It's taking place during autumn, so the leaves are red, so I'm dressed in my favorite, or my only, spooky look. Kind of dark academia, kind of witchy vibes. And the plan for today is to edit at least 4 chapters, and then I'm gonna vlog tomorrow as well, and maybe, hopefully, edit more chapters. I wanted to sit down, so here we are. So if you haven't watched my first editing vlog on this project, I can link that in one of these corners and also in the description below. So like I said, I finished this last year during NaNoWriMo and then December, and it ended up being maybe 56,000 words. So I'm going into this draft knowing that it is underwritten and that I need to fill out, especially about the world and the magic system, and also the internal conflict. It is internal conflict there for all my characters, and I think most of the actions and the events that are happening and the consequences of their actions is motivated by their internal conflict and their fears, but sometimes I'm writing it out a little bit too clearly, so I'm like word for word describing what they fear, and usually people don't know what they fear the most and like how they're gonna react because of their fears. I've only encountered maybe 2-3 of those sentences where it's a little bit too specific and the characters wouldn't know this about themselves. I am going to change it up and make it so that they can still describe their fears, but they will not be as clear about it as they are now. But yeah, dialogue is there, action and events are there. I haven't changed really any events, or I haven't changed anything, because if you haven't watched the first vlog, the way that I'm editing this first draft is through these pens, and I'm making notes in the printed out version with all these pens, and I'm gonna make changes on the computer later when I'm done with this. And romance is definitely there in the way that the scenes are written. They are there, and the feelings are there, and the chemistry is there. But since it is enemies to lovers, at least enemies to lovers through the first half of the book, I need to establish that enemies baseline first, and I need to stick to that baseline the whole way through the first and half of the second act, and then now in the middle things are changing, and now I am on chapter 15, and I think that when I did the outline of this book, these chapters that I'm working on right now, the event that is happening here, is what I call the midpoint of the story, the midpoint plot twist. So I can just quickly go through the colors. Red is for deleting and rewriting. Blue is for adding, so adding description and world building and magic system things, and like, can you describe this a little bit more? Can you add things, describe their feelings, their surroundings? Because sometimes I feel like with this project there's a little bit of white room syndrome, and if you don't know what that is essentially when you are writing a scene between characters and you don't sprinkle in those descriptions of world building, or not world building but surroundings and descriptions of where they're at. It can feel like they are just talking to each other in an empty room, a white room. And so you want to have those noises, what they're hearing, what they're seeing, how is the atmosphere. So sometimes that is the case, and there I am using this pen a lot and reminding myself of, you need to add something here. And then green is for things that are unclear, sentences where I'm like, what the hell did I mean here? And also when I don't explain the magic system enough, then I'm just making a statement about the magic system, then I'm also using this and I'm like, wait a minute, I think we need to explain this a little bit more. It is not clear enough. For example, that the magic system is based around the moon and the moon's cycles. Their magic is not, fully charged all times, but it is affected by the moon and its cycle. So that needs to be clear, and I need to work on that. Those are the 3 main colors that I'm using, and then I'm also using these orange post-it notes and a black pen for the things that would take up too much of the page to write out. Those are working really well, and I'm almost out of them. I will definitely have used all of them before this read-through is over, so I need to use another color, which is really sad. But anyway, it's 11:30, so almost 12 o'clock. I'm gonna eat lunch soon, so I'm thinking that I'm gonna do 1 chapter before lunch and I can film a little bit of it. I'm gonna eat lunch and then we're gonna do 3 other chapters in the afternoon. And I'm also thinking that I'm gonna play some games, just live the cozy vibes, and also edit. So that's the plan for today, so let's get to it. let's go. Let's do another chapter because I did 15 before lunch and now 16. So it's a different hairstyle because I went, before I edited that chapter, I went and got a package from my publisher because they are publishing so many good books, or I haven't read them yet, but they sound so good. And they had an autumn book box with 2 of their like autumnal romances, and so I got one for myself and I'm opening it as a gift to myself, pat on the back, since I have done 2 chapters a day. I'm gonna do 2 more, but for now this is the gift that I give myself. So I think I needed scissors for this, but anyway. Okay, since most of you who are watching me right now is from the US, I don't think you would have bought this product because the books are in Swedish and it's a Swedish publisher. So I think I can show it to you, and this will be up in October, so it will already be shipped to everyone that's in Sweden. This is what I'm seeing here. Should I pick up the books first or should I pick up the other stuff first? Okay. First thing that I see is a lantern thing. A glass lantern, which is actually really cute. Wait, how am I? I don't think it's supposed to be like this. Wait, I'm gonna fix it. Okay, I fixed it. It just needed to be hooked on over here. But a cute little lantern. I don't think you're supposed to hold it like this and pose for pictures. But it actually is really cute. I like the vibe of it. And I can put another candle in it. And it will be aesthetic for fall. And then we have a bookish little bookmark. It says leaves are falling, autumn is calling, and it's really cute. So this is what it looks like. And on the other side there's the books for this book box. I'm not sure if I like, you know, having the books on it, on the bookmark, because you're not just gonna use the bookmark for these books. So I don't know why they're doing that. But at the same time, when I'm using bookmarks, I'm only seeing this part because when I pick it up, flip it open, this is the part that shows. And maybe a little bit part of this, but I'm not mad about it because it is still really cute. And then we have a tea, and the tea that I got from their Christmas box was also really good. It's black teas, both of them, and I think that Christmas or winter tea had like dried oranges and stuff like that. But this is elderflower, is that what it's called? I think it is. Elderflower and those red berries. I can put up something here and you can understand what the hell I'm talking about. The last thing that is non-book related is caramel sea salt chocolate, which is also like themed for autumn because that is a thing that they're very good at, picking objects or picking food related items to fit the theme of the box. And you know, it fits the color scheme that we all know and love. Oranges, browns, yellows. Then we have the 2 books. I don't know which to show you first, but I can go with this one because this is a full-length novel and it's by C.N. Passion and it's a romance. And this is their official like first step into the illustrated cover game because I love illustrated covers so much in romance. And we who read English romances, we eat them up. And I feel like they are the most popular romances nowadays is the books that has illustrated like couples on them or illustrated texts. But in Sweden, these are the covers that do best. So I was really pleased that they wanted to try this type of cover with one of their romances. It's called in Swedish, Vad är det värsta som kan hända? Or my English translation, because I'm doing that shit now. What is the worst that can happen? And I've heard so many good things about it recently on Instagram because during the book fair in Gothenburg, which I wasn't able to go to, this had its release down there. So people got the signed copies. I also have a signed copy. And now people have been reading it and they are saying so many good things about it. And so I'm really, really excited about this book. I'm just looking forward a quick and easy, lighthearted rom-com. And then we have this little paperback. This is the 4th and final installment in a short story series that Gabriella Persejden, the author of this book, and Caroline Hurtig did together. Each book follows a different couple and each follows or is set during a different season. So this is the fall one. I'm really looking forward to it, and actually I began reading this, like the first page, because I just wanted to read the first page and the first line. And I was hooked from the very beginning, so maybe this will be my next read, or maybe this one will. Who knows? But both of these are signed by the authors, and I also really like their chapter headings or headers because they are very good at that. I can show you another one. I haven't read this book yet, but here's another chapter header for the prologue. Here's how the parts are divided. Here's another chapter header. I think there's different chapter headers depending on what character or what is happening in the chapter. I don't know. Yeah, what character, I think. Another chapter header. Anyway, this is Maskeradnatten by Alice Ekström. Another of their fancy books. Anyway, I'm gonna put these in my Seraph shelf because I have a shelf just for my publisher. So there we go. That's the updated Seraph shelf. And I put the purple flowers because purple is kind of their color. And I also have this goldfish here because, I don't know. And here you get to see a little bit more of my shelf. Anyway, I'm really happy about this. And I think I'm gonna start eating this one as a kind of gift to myself after I have finished editing the next chapter. Because that is what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna continue to edit, take a small chocolate break. Then I'm gonna edit more. I've done one chapter. And I'm gonna do another. I'm gonna eat a little bit of my chocolate. Because I have deserved that to date, in my opinion. And last chapter was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now there's another large chapter ahead. I took a picture with these books in my face. And posted it on Instagram because I wanted to post about my autumn plans, or my plans for this season. Like the last quarter of the year. And I'm gonna replenish my energy with some chocolate. And then I'm gonna probably play some Disney Dreamlight Valley. That chocolate was very good and I've eaten half of it while I was editing. But I'm now done editing the 4 chapters for today and it has taken me the whole day. Like, I thought that I would be able to read some chapters in my book that I'm reading for enjoyment, that is. I thought that I would be able to play some Disney Dreamlight Valley. I will be able to play at least 50 minutes, but that will be it. So tomorrow maybe I won't have the goal of doing 4 chapters, but maybe I have a goal of doing 3, because I did 3 today and I felt good, but at the 4th chapter I was struggling and to get through it at the same tempo, so it took me way longer than I thought it would. So I'm gonna take off my makeup and then I'm gonna play some Disney Dreamlight Valley, and then I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. And yes, this is a bear, a wooden bear, because I got it from my great grandma. Hello, it's day 2, so it's the 30th of September today, and I'm sitting down to do some editing. And I have only done 1 page, and I also wrote this part here from the last chapter, because the last chapter is following the events, or it's part of the midpoint plot twist, and it's kind of very traumatic for my female main character, and there's some gruesome trigger warning scenes in that chapter. This is an adult novel, so it's darker than typical YA, and it's also a romance, so it's adult for multiple reasons. But when I wrote that, I didn't want it to be too long because it is kind of not really that fun to read about. But then when I read it, I felt like it was a bit too short because she is in that state a long time, and now when people are reading this, it will be just 2 chapters, then this whole new thing is happening. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna lengthen it to make it feel like more time has passed, but not focus too much on the actual torture part? Because I think I can do that and describe kind of how the days are passing and that kind of numb state that she gets in. I think I can describe that more. So maybe I'm gonna do that. But at the same time, from my male POV, he's not with the female main character for this time. It's just 1 chapter, so he gets from point A to point B like this, because we can't see time passing from his point of view, but we can see time passing from the female point of view. So I'm like, do I need to add time passing from his point of view as well, and add more descriptions of him moving through the country? But that is something that I need to think about, and I'm gonna write it down just in the beginning of chapter 19 if I do want to add passing time element to this chapter. But the traumatic chapter is over. Overall, this book is a fantasy romance, an Mr. Lover's fantasy romance, but it is also very comedic. I have tried my best to make it really fun and the chemistry is fun between the two characters, but the atmosphere is dark. So I don't want the themes to be dark, because if I make that chapter this dark, which I have, but you know, if I stick with that chapter, then I need to make a bigger point of healing from that trauma in the later chapters of this book. And I don't feel like I have done that, because even though those events didn't break my female main character, you know, she's still the feisty one. She's hurt by the events, but she's not broken. I still think that I need to like add some character development because of the events, because I haven't done that. I don't think I have done that because I don't remember writing it like that. I'm just gonna wait and see, and I've written a comment of that, so I can move past that now. And for chapter 19, we have a fun scene for my male main character. I'm just gonna keep working and we'll see what I'm gonna do about that chapter. My plan is to do maybe 2 chapters before lunch, and then after lunch I can take it a little bit more easy and do 1 chapter. That's the plan. I need to update. I have only done this first page and this page. I thought that I was good at writing action scenes, because in Gods of Ruin there is a specific action sequence that I got praise for, or that the editor that I worked with, like the first editor that I worked with before sending it into publishers, that she said flowed really well. At least that's how I remember it. Of course, there was things that didn't work in that chapter. I'm not quoting her exactly, but around the themes that it flowed really nicely, and you know, the pacing was good and the action sequence was interesting and fun to read about, you know. Since then, and since I got kind of the same critique for the later part of Gods of Ruin, like the ending of Gods of Ruin, and that is also action-packed, I felt really, you know, I felt really good about writing action scenes. And there was a scene previously in the book, just a couple of chapters ago, that was also action filled, and I felt like I nailed that scene, because it flowed really well, and you know, movements of every character and what was happening was kind of good. But here I am, chapter 19, from a male POV. He is in this first 2 chapters, or first 2 pages, he's moving fast, and he's moving through a city, kind of a smaller city, to get to the big fort in the middle, because he needs to get there fast. And he's dodging all these guards and hiding, and there's a lot of green here. I've used the green pen a lot on this page because it's so bad. Me as a writer of this freaking of these words, I can understand how he gets from point A to point B, how he does it, how none of the guards are noticing him, like what are the steps that he's taking to pass through unnoticed. So there's a lot of green things, and green stands for unclear things and things that doesn't make sense. My running style in this chapter, I wanted to be kind of fast and to get that more fast-paced feel, but it didn't end up turning out that great, so I'm just continuing to work on it. Need the green pen. I think I'm done for the day. The plan was to do 1 more chapter, because I finished chapter 20 from my female point of view, but I checked and next chapter is a long chapter, and so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a little bit on page 6, and that would take me an hour to do, and I can't sit down and end it more right now, at least, because I have a brain fog. So I can't really focus, because I heard somewhere that your brain can only focus for like 20 minutes and then you get distracted. Therefore, the Pomodoro style or method of like studying with 25 minutes study or writing and then 5 minutes off and then 25 minutes again, that keeps your focus much better than if you would just sit down and study for an hour or 2 hours or edit for 1 hour, 2 hours. So therefore, I'm not gonna sit here and edit anymore right now. And I just feel like I want to take a shower, because we went out in the woods and I feel like I have small spiders all over me. We went out into the woods to look for mushrooms, chanterelles, or the type of chanterelle that is autumn and fall. We went out looking for them. We couldn't find that much. We found just a little bit, but we didn't pick any because we want to wait until more grows so we can go out like a whole day and just pick some mushrooms, because we use them in stews and soups and you can use it for a lot of things. But then I want to play some Disney Dreamlight Valley and just relax because it's Friday and I feel like relaxing. Even though I haven't done that much today. And then later this evening, me and my family are gonna watch the new episode of Rings of Power, the new Lord of the Rings prequel. I love it very much. I think it's very fun. And so I'm just gonna have a great time. And I am officially in the book on chapter 21, and it's from a male point of view, and we have just left behind us all the drama and action of the midpoint, and now comes a lot of like romantic build-up and a little bit of trauma healing, I guess, because I looked over some of the dialogue because these pages right here are filled with dialogue, so they are talking a lot. But I saw that Noor, my female main character, I'm sorry if you can hear anything in the background, our vacuum is out and doing its job right now, but Noor, my female main character, she talks about what she went through with him. And so I think I got the trauma covered. That sounds really off, but you know what I mean. The things that she went through in the midpoint here is okay, like it's not too much, but I will definitely add more of that time passing in the editing round. Because my female main character, she states in her chapters, or I stated as her. It's weird to talk about your characters as real people, but it's the way I feel. Anyway, she states that it has been days, but we can really see that from my male point of view. We don't know that it's been days. So I think I just need to be clear of that so that we can know that time has passed. The action that I wrote from the female point of view, the action scene just now that I wrote from the female point of view was actually much better than with the male point of view. Her action sequences has a lot to do with magic, and his action sequences has a lot to do with fighting and swords and arrows, because he's a soldier that hunts witches and demons, and she's a witch that uses magic. So I feel like when I'm writing about magic, I can write whatever I want because it's my magic system. So it's much easier and it has much better flow, and I can delve easier into like internal conflict and that kind of stuff in those action scenes as well. But with him, there's a lot of things that I need to rewrite about the action from his point of view, because I mean, I wrote with sword fighting in Goldsword Ruin, but he is much more technical than Eden, my main character in that book, because Eden doesn't know anything about techniques when it comes to sword fighting, and my male main character in this one, he does. So it's different. It's just different books, different characters, different people. With that said, I'm gonna end the vlog here. I hope that you enjoyed it. I think that I will take the weekend off, so the first days of October I will not be editing this book, but then I will probably do another vlog Monday to Tuesday, because I'm getting Goldsword Ruin back sometime next week. I'm guessing that I will get it midway through next week, so I can like work on this Monday to Tuesday at least. And then I will take a break from this project because I will be editing Goldsword Ruin. That will be my only focus for a long time, which is kind of disappointing because this book is only 34 chapters and I'm on chapter 21. So if I could have gotten like one more week, I could be done with going through this project. But this book is not going to be published until Goldsword Ruin is done. So even though I can technically take the first week off from Goldsword Ruin and still work on this one and then begin editing the other book, I don't want to do that because Goldsword Ruin has a deadline. Like we have a publishing timeline that I need to stick through, and I will probably get a new deadline for the first or the second round of edits that I'm gonna get back. But with that said, this is the end of the writing vlog. Look out for next week's video. That will be, I think it's next week. That will be another writing vlog on this project. Let me know what you thought of this video. Leave a like and a comment below. Let me know if you are participating in NaNoWriMo this year. I am not, because I'm gonna edit and I don't feel like drafting anymore. Since drafting Goldsword Ruin Book 2, the sequel of Goldsword Ruin, I just don't feel like drafting because it was a big project and I'm glad I'm done with it. And subscribe because I post a new video every week, every Thursday, and I'll see you in the next one.